Hey guys, Saki here from SAKITECH, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys a full list of tips, tricks, and basically a full tutorial of the Samsung Galaxy Note 9's S Pen. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings, I'm going to go to the advanced features, and I'm going to go directly into the S Pen. And here is all the S Pen magic. Okay, so we're going to actually cover every single item here from top to all the way to the bottom. And of course we're going to look at the Air Command menu, which is going to be a second part of this video. So I'm going to actually show you exactly what all these functions over here do for your Samsung Galaxy Note 9. And of course what we're going to do is we are going to go back over here to advanced features, S Pen. And as you know, the S Pen on the Note 9 now has a brand new remote functionality. The remote functionality allows you to use your S Pen as a remote controller to actually control your Note 9 from a distance. So we are going to cover this menu separately towards the end of the video. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from here. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to go over the Air Command menu right over here. And then towards the end, I'm going to go into this menu where Advanced Features, S Pen, and S Pen Remote, and cover all these features over here as well. So let's do it step by step, and let's start off with the basic stuff. So basically, screen off memo. Let's tap on this. You can turn this on or off, and what you can do is if your device is actually turned off, you can bring the S Pen close to the device, press the button, tap on the screen, and start taking quick notes on the screen while your Samsung Galaxy Note 9 is turned off. This is a great way to take notes on the go when you are in fact busy. You can quickly jot down a note or take somebody's phone number and just move on. Okay, so you don't have to actually turn on the device. You can just do it the way I did it. So that's the screen write memo. Now if you look at the screen write memos options, you can actually choose it to write in the color of the actual pen. So the pen is yellow, so it's going to use the S Pen signature color as its default color to take notes, as you just saw. If you don't want that, you can disable that, and when you do take a screen off memo, it's going to simply write in white color, and let me show you what that's going to look like. Again, you press the button, you tap on the screen, that launches the screen off memo. And now when you take a note, it's just going to be black and white, okay? And I do prefer the yellow color, so that's an option that you do have. So let's go back in here, S Pen, and let's move on to Air View. So basically, Air View allows you to preview things simply by hovering the S Pen right over them, all right? So basically, if I go back in here, you can read everything that it can do. But let me show you, let me give an example. Let me go to the gallery. Let me go to the gallery. Let me go into this album. And as I hover, I don't have to touch the screen for this feature to work. I simply have to hover the S Pen over the screen. So when I hover it over one of these images, it's going to actually maximize that image, not completely, but a little bit. It's going to make it a larger preview. And from here, I can either look at it, or I can just move the pen away and go to the next picture. And then what I can do is I have a bunch of options here. I can edit this picture, I can share this picture, or I can delete this picture. Now that's known as the Air View functionality. Now Air View also works with the calendar. If I go into the actual calendar over here, I can do Air View on the entries that I actually have, on the days that I have something actually going on. So if I hovered over one of the empty dates, nothing's going to happen. But if I hover over the 6th over here, looks like I have a Best Buy payment due. So that is the Air View. So you can either disable or enable that option. The next option over here is the direct pen input. Now before I show you this, guys, let me quickly talk about the pointer. So the pointer here, if you enable this, is simply a little pointer that you're going to see on the screen as the S Pen hovers over the screen. Now remember, I'm not touching the S Pen on the screen, I'm just letting it hover. And you'll see a little pointer that follows the tip of the actual S Pen. So that's the pointer. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't like it, so I disable this by default. Now let's go back to the direct pen input. So direct pen input is pretty amazing. So let me show you exactly what it does. Make sure it is enabled, and then let's just go to Chrome over here. And over here is a field into which I can normally type text. So when I tap on it, the keyboard comes up. What else I can do is I can hover the S Pen over this field, and you'll see a blue icon pop up. If I tap on the blue icon, it's going to actually allow me to write instead of type using the keyboard. So let me delete all this, and as you can see, I can say www.google. Nope, well it finished, but you can see exactly what happened. So e.com. So if there's any field into which I can actually type in using the keyboard, I can also use the S Pen to have this window into which I can actually do handwriting. And everything that I do with handwriting converts into actual text, as you just saw. Now if I went back into text messages, and let's just go right over here, I can do the same thing over here. You see the blue icon. If I tap on it, it brings this, and I can actually start using the S Pen and perform handwriting, and that's going to be converted into actual writing. So that's the direct pen input you can use anywhere where you can actually use the keyboard. Let's go right back in here. And the next feature I'm going to talk about, we already talked about the pointer, is I'm going to actually skip this. I'm going to come back to this when I talk about the air command. Let's come over here and let's talk about the removal. So this one is when S Pen is removed. What happens? You have a couple options. So the S Pen goes into its little house over here. When you remove it, you can have it launch air command automatically. You can have it launch a note into which you can start writing. Or the way I like it, do nothing. Because I like to pull it out and choose what I want to do manually. Another pretty amazing thing is this alarm here. So basically this alarm allows you to, if you enable this, and let's say you leave your S Pen here and you grab your phone and you walk away. What's going to happen is your phone is going to alert you and let you know that you are leaving your S Pen behind. Go grab it, because you do not want to lose this guy. It's probably going to be $40 to $50 if you want to buy a replacement. So make sure the alarm is enabled in case you put the pen on the table, you grab your phone and you walk away. Okay? And this is not a big deal over here. Just keep it enabled. It's going to save you a little bit of battery, but not too much. And now let's go back. You've got sound, you've got vibration. So basically, do you want the S Pen to play a sound when you remove it from its house over here? Yes. So it's going to give you a nice little feedback, and of course it's going to give you a little vibration every time you insert the pen into its hole or remove it. So these are just for feedback. Alright, so we talked about all these options. We'll come back to this at the end of the video, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking about the air command functions. Alright, so air command is this menu that comes up when you press the button on the S Pen while the S Pen is close to the screen. So you press the button and boom, you've got the air command menu. Now first thing I'm going to tell you guys about the air command menu is you can go to the settings from here, to the S Pen settings right from here. So if you go to the settings, you've got the air command, and then you can create shortcuts. So if I tap on this, this allows me to customize the shortcuts that pop up when I press this button for the air command. Okay, so click edit and go to the settings and go to the shortcuts. And I do want to let you know you can have a maximum of 10 shortcuts in your air command menu. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you try to add any more, it's going to say you cannot add more than 10. So you can remove them by tapping this button, and you have a bunch of options. What you can do is you can add anything from S Pen features or apps and functions. So if you want to have S Pen features in the air command menu, you can do that. Additionally, you can add apps and functions. So I can have something like the create note and the calculator right here. When I go back out, let's remove that. So right now I have two shortcuts in my air command menu. If I press the button, I get two shortcuts, create a note and calculator. So that's what you can edit. So let's go back to settings, go over to the air command and click on this. And let's do it this way. Let's just add all the S Pen features, okay? Because I'm going to show you guys what these things are capable of doing. We don't need this one, so we'll add this one and we'll add this one, okay? So now we have all the S Pen features in the air command menu, so we can go over them one by one. Before we go in there, I'm going to show you one more thing. If I go back here, you'll see that there's a floating icon here. If I enable this, there's a little floating icon you can put anywhere on the screen. And what that allows you to do is, instead of pressing the button over here, you can just tap on that icon and it's also going to bring the air command menu. No matter where you are, it'll be sitting on the corner somewhere. If you put it here, it kind of becomes transparent, so that's nice, but it's always there for you to use. So I don't like to have this, so I'm going to disable this. What I like to do is I like to disable the floating icon, and if I do need the air command, I press the button and then it comes right up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over all the air command functions. So here's the air command. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create a note, and that allows me to create a note and I can start writing, and then I can save this and I can move on. Now all the notes that you save get saved in Samsung Notes. So here's the Samsung Notes, and here's all the notes that I've been taking. Okay, so they're going to show up right over here. So that's one thing. Number two, we have the Smart Select, which is a very powerful feature. So when you click this, you get a little allow it, if it asks you, you get this menu. From here you can select parts of the screen and save it as a screenshot. Not only that, you can actually draw on it. So I can tap this and I can start drawing on it. Okay. I can crop it, share it, and save it any way I want. So let me exit this. I'm going to show you one more thing with the Smart Select. Let's go back out. So Smart Select, click on that. I can also use oval shapes or lasso. So with the oval, I can take a circular screenshot. And the great thing is, every time you take a screenshot, you get these two options on the top over here. One of them is the extract text feature. If I tap on this, it's going to extract all the text that it sees on that screen and will allow you to copy or share that text. Okay? Additionally, you can just save this as a screenshot and it's going to go into your gallery. So that's the Smart Select, allows you to select parts of the screen, of any screen in any app, and save it in any way that you want. Okay? You can even have this guy here and take a shape like this as a screenshot. So let's exit this over here, go back. Now let's move on to the next tactic. So this one is the screen write function. So this is basically a screenshot feature. If I tap it, it takes a screenshot, but then it allows me to use the pen to edit that screenshot. And of course, I can be anywhere. I can be in the Play Store, I can be in any app, I can be in the Maps application, and all I have to do is press that button, tap on screen write. It takes a screenshot, and then I can edit that, and I can again crop it, share it, or save it as I desire. So that's the screen write feature. The next thing over here is the live message feature, which is pretty amazing. So if I tap on the live message, again, just allow it if it asks for that, you can write pretty amazing animated messages. So I can play this, okay? I can undo it. I can change the color. Let's pick red. Let's make it a little bit thinner. And let's pick a different style. So let's pick the, what is that? That's the glow. So I can say hi. And I can send this as a message to anybody. So as you can see, it's a glow hi. Now let me click, erase this real quick. Let's try one more. Let's try this one, sparkle. Okay, this one, the hearts. So when I'm ready to send this to somebody, I can click done. It is going to save that message as a GIF image, and then I can message this to anybody that I desire. And of course, because I'm able to use the S Pen, it's very easy to create some really precise drawings. Again, I can share this with anybody in any way that I desire. All right, so that's the live message. After the live message, what we have is we have the Bixby Vision. I'm going to skip that for now. Let me just talk about, I'm going to come back to translate in a minute. Let me talk about magnify. So if you tap on magnify, what happens is you get a little window here. You can move this window around, but in the window it says 150%. That means wherever I hover the S Pen, it's giving me 150% magnification. I can tap this guy again. I can do 200%. I can go all the way up to 250 and 300. So as you can see, it's getting bigger and bigger. So if I do 300, it's even bigger. Now I can move this window around, put it anywhere where it's convenient, and I can just exit out when I'm done. So that's the magnify feature. The next feature that I have over here is the glance feature, which is pretty amazing. With the glance feature, for it to work, you have to have some kind of app running in the background. So let me have the Chrome over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the glance application so I can tap it, and as you can see, the Chrome window just went down. So what I can do is I can glance at that window just like that. Okay, you hover over, it comes right up, you glance at it, and then when you move away, it goes away. This is great for research. So if I am in the Samsung Notes application, let's say I'm taking a note, let's put this over here. Let's say I'm doing some research, I'm taking some notes, and I'm using the Chrome as a research tool. I can glance at an article or whatever, and then I can go away and continue my article, my own writing over here based on the article that I'm glancing at. Okay, so that's the glance feature. When you're done with the glance window, you just grab it and you remove it and it's gone. All right, so that's the glance option. Let's go back into the Pen Up. So Pen Up is just an application designed for the S Pen. I'm not going to launch it, but if you do go inside, it allows you to do a lot of artwork if you're an artist. Or maybe you just want to have some fun. But coloring is also a part of the Pen Up. So if I tap on color, it's going to take me to the coloring section. And as you can see, you can do things like this. Okay, so it's a lot of fun. So you can start, you can either sign in, sign up, or you can start the coloring process without having to sign in or sign up. So if I tap this, I can start to color. I can do coloring just like this if I wanted to, or I can do it the other way, which is the bucket type, as you can see. Okay, so it's pretty fun to color these if you have the time and energy to do so. Pen Up and coloring is almost the same thing. Now, Translate is an extremely powerful feature. Let me show you what it does. Let's go back to Google over here. Let's just type in google.com, and let's see, there's some words over here. Let me go to CNN.com, actually, CNN.com. I need a paragraph to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's say that I want to translate some of this stuff. So what I can do is I can tap, I accept, I can tap on the button, bring up the air command. I can tap on translate, and now I have this window. First, you want to pick a source language, which is going to be English, and then you want to pick a language that we're going to be translating to. And of course, this is backed by Google, so you have all these options. Let's just pick Turkish, and if I hover the S Pen over any one of these words, it's going to translate that word into Turkish. So from English to Turkish. If I want to actually translate an entire paragraph, I tap this button right here, and now I can hover here, and it's going to do a full translation of the actual paragraph from any language that you choose to any language that you choose. When you're done, exit out and you're done. So that was the last of the air command functions. Again, tap settings, go to shortcuts, and make sure you modify this according to your needs. Now the final thing, we're going to be talking about the S Pen remote functionality. So S Pen now has two different components. The first component is writing, sketching, air command, and all that good stuff. And the second component is the fact that you can use the S Pen and the button right over here as a remote control to use and control certain apps on your smartphone. So that remote control functionality is the Bluetooth functionality, and that is separate from everything else you can do on the actual Note 9 with the S Pen. So let me just clarify this. If I go into the Samsung Notes, and if I create a new note, and if I write something down, this has nothing to do with the Bluetooth functionality of the actual S Pen, and the S Pen does not need to get charged to perform writing or sketching. Additionally, if I just want to navigate my phone using the S Pen, again, it does not need to be charged. And also, if I use the Air command menu of my smartphone, which is this guy, I do not need to charge the S Pen. I do not need to use the Bluetooth functionality of the S Pen. Okay? But if I want to actually use the S Pen as a remote control, then the S Pen needs to be charged. Now, how does it get charged? You simply put it back here into its case, and boom, within seconds, it goes to 100% charge, and after it is charged, it can be used for a good amount of time. Now, let me show you the settings. Let's go to the settings. Let's go to Advanced Features. Let's go to the S Pen features, and the only features that pertain to the S Pen's Bluetooth functionality are these guys right over here. So, for example, if I press and hold the button over here, it's going to open the camera. So let me show you that. Press and hold. Boom, the camera launches. That was the Bluetooth remote functionality. Also, I can tap on this one, and I can actually change what that holding of the button over here does. So just to give you an example, let's just choose a create note. Now if I press and hold, it's going to bring up the S note, and I can start to take a note. Okay, and I can then save it. So this option over here is the first customization option. From here, if you hold down the pen button, it is going to launch any app that you desire. Any one of these apps over here. Okay, I do like the camera option, so let's just keep it at the camera. And with every single app, you have two options. For example, let's just take a look at the camera over here. It says single press takes a picture and double press switches the camera. So let me show you exactly how all of this is going to work together. If I press and hold, it's going to launch the camera. If I press it one time, it takes a photo remotely, so I can actually go away, walk away from the actual Note 9 with my S Pen, and press a button, this button, from a distance, and it's going to take a photo. Now if I double tap this button, it actually switches over to the actual selfie camera, as you can see right here. If I double tap it again, it's going to flip over to the other, the rear-facing camera. So those are the settings you can modify from here. So here, what I can do is I can tap on this. At a single press, I can take a picture, switch camera, record a video, or do absolutely nothing. So I can disable all these options. I do like take picture option. If I double press, I have the options, the same options. I can take a picture, switch the camera, or record a video. So if I tap on this, now let's press and hold the S Pen. Brings up the camera. One press takes a photo. Okay, there we go. One press took a photo. If I double tap, it's going to start to record an actual video, as you can see. Alright, so that's how you modify S Pen's remote functionality, also known as the Bluetooth functionality. And if you scroll down, you've got the gallery. You've got the same things. You can single press to go to the next item, or double press to go to the previous item. Now let's take a look at that and how it works. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my gallery over here. I'm going to just go to one of the albums. Let's just tap on this picture. So basically what I can do is if I just single tap it, it's going to go to the next picture. So single tap, boom, next item, single tap, boom, next item, single tap, boom, next item. And if I double tap, it goes back. Okay, double tap, it goes back. And again, if I go into the actual settings, by the way, I can always go to the settings by bringing up the Air command. If I tap, if I click on settings, I can go back into the S Pen remote settings from here. So if I'm here, again, I can change what I can do. I can do nothing, next, previous. Next, previous, do nothing. And I can also batch disable each one of these options. So if I do this, now the camera is not going to work with the S Pen remote anymore. Now as I use the S Pen, you'll notice that battery is going down. So the battery goes down pretty quickly. It can last 15 minutes to 30 minutes. It also is based on how many times you tap on it. So every time you tap on this button, it takes away battery. But the good news is, as soon as you put this back into the case here, within 15 seconds, it charges again for many more taps, clicks of the button. So it's not a big deal because we keep putting our S Pen back in the case all the time. And again, over here we have the shutter. So if I just tap this one time, it takes a picture. Let me tap again or do nothing. I can control my media. I can play pause using this on the music application. So if I tap this, I can play pause, I can skip to the next track, or I can do nothing. And same over here, I can modify this as well. So it's very simple. You pull out the S Pen and then you press and hold, and the pressing and holding function you set from here. So if I press and hold, it opens the camera right now. But like I said, you can pick any one of these apps. And then for each application that is supported for the S Pen remote, and you're going to have more and more of these apps show up over here, you can do two things. You can do a single press and a double press. All right? So that's absolutely fantastic. With the Chrome, if I enable Chrome, I can do a single press and it goes back. I can do a double press, it goes forward. Let me give you an example for that as well. Let's go to the Chrome over here. Now I am at google.com. Let me go into the Google Drive website. Let's click on this. So now I went forward into the Google Drive website. What I can do with the S Pen is if I single tap it, it's going to go back. If I double tap it, it's going to go forward. Okay, so that's how this one works. And also, while I'm using an application that is enabled to be used with the S Pen's remote functionality, I can hover over the air command icon here, and it does actually give me a quick preview of what the single press and the double press does. So single press back, it says, and double press forward. So that's what it is going to do when Chrome is actually enabled. Now if I tap on this one more time, the same thing is going to show at the bottom here. Okay, single press is back, double press is forward, and these are the S Pen actions for Chrome. The software knows exactly where you are. So if I go to the camera and I hover over this icon, okay, oops, I pressed it by mistake, but if I hover over it, you'll see the same thing. Single press, take a picture, double press, record a video, and if I tap on this button, you get the same options at the bottom. Okay, if I tap on it, same options at the bottom here. You can also modify them right from here. So I can modify it right from here if I so desire. The other thing is if I were to go outside to a regular non-S Pen remote area, and if I hover, it's not going to show that. Okay, so these options, now let me go back to Chrome, only show up when the S Pen remote can be used with the app that is running in the background. Okay, so another thing to be aware of. With the Handcom Office Editor, it's the same thing. If you're doing a presentation, you can go forward or backwards. So that is the S Pen remote functionality. Now there's a little bit more to this. One thing again I want to clarify is the S Pen remote has nothing to do with the rest of the S Pen functions such as sketching, writing, or even this air command menu right over here that is very popular. And when you go into the S Pen remote, this battery percentage only pertains to the S Pen remote functions. Do not forget that. And of course, if you go to your quick toggles over here, you're going to see some options regarding the S Pen. One thing I want you guys to notice is the Bluetooth is disabled, and that's not a big deal because the S Pen remote Bluetooth functionality has its own little button right over here. If you disable this, now the S Pen remote is turned off. Now the S Pen is going to operate as if you have a Galaxy Note 8 without their Bluetooth functionalities. But I can always tap on this and it re-enables the S Pen remote. Okay. By the way, if you press and hold this, it goes directly into the S Pen remote options that we have seen earlier. And as you can see, it's saying disconnected. Every time you disable the S Pen remote option, it disconnects the S Pen. Now, even as the S Pen is disconnected, notice I can still use the air command, and I can still create a note, and I can still write, no problem. The only thing that has been disconnected is the actual remote functionality. If I put this back into the case, which I'm going to do right now, you'll notice that it's going to reconnect immediately. So it says connecting, available. Now when I remove this, S Pen functionality is going to be re-enabled. So that was the other thing over here. Remember, Bluetooth does not have to be enabled for this to work. Only this option has to be enabled. And of course, what you can do is you can tap on the button order. And then what you can do is you can take this S Pen remote and you can put it on the first screen next to Bluetooth maybe, for easy access. Alright, so click done, and now it's going to be quickly available right over here. It's the Note 9, so we do use the S Pen a lot. So it's good to have the options available for quick access. And that brings us to the end of this video, and I hope you learned some new tactics for your amazing Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Now make sure to subscribe to SAKITECH for more videos to come, and of course, if you do use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, follow me on all at SAKITECH Online for the latest updates. Guys, have a fantastic day.